everyone, and my name is Emmeline and you're watching ETA to Z on Arts TV. Ethiopian women often wear beautiful and unique traditional clothing. One of the best places to shop for handwoven textiles and for holidays is Shiro meda. Today, I will try one beautiful Habesha qamis. Follow me. ደህና ነሽ?
እግዚአብሔር ይመስገን።
ስምሽ ማን ነው?
My name is ሙሉዓለም.
እኔ ኤሚሊን እባላለሁ።
እሺ።
How long have you been working here for?
I've been working here for at least 2 years since I opened my business.
You have lovely pieces here. What I really love about Habesha qamis is the embroidery patterns that you can find on the dresses. But I still don't know what's the difference between ጥበብ and ጥለት.
There's a reason why ጥበብ and ጥለት are different. When the embroidery is done at the bottom of the dress, it's because of the weaving. We call that ጥበብ. But if the embroidery is done around here, it's called ጥለት. That is the difference between the two.
And how long does it take to make one dress?
If it's a very hard dress to do, then it can take up to 2 months. But if it's a simpler dress, then it can take a month or 15 days. But if the dress is ordered without any embroidery, then it will only take a week. That's the difference.
How about the price? Wagao. Does it depend on the quality of the dress, of the cotton?
The base price for the materials of the dress is the same. The difference in price comes from the weaving. And what I mean by weaving is if the dress takes 2 months to make and if you add the ጥበብ on top of it, it won't have the same price as the dress that takes 1 month. The thing that brings the difference in price isn't the material, but the ጥበብ.
ልዩነታቸው እንደዛ ነው።
ግን ስራው ጉልበት ያስፈልጋል?
It's very tiring. If they start making the dress today, trying to finish the dress in 2 months and adding the ጥበብ takes a lot. It's hard to get the ጥበብ right.
አንቺ ተሰሪያለሽ ወይ?
No, I don't. I only sell the dresses and take orders.
የወንዶች ብቻ ስራ ነው ወይ?
Yes, only the men weave. The women don't do it.
ለምን?
Women don't have the know-how to begin with. And since the work is very tiring, it's only the men who weave. There are some women who weave, but they weave plain dresses without ጥበብ.
የሚባሉ ጥበቦች ሴቶች አንዳንዴ አልፎ የሚሰሩ አሉ።
They're not that good. It's men that mostly weave.
ወንዶች ናቸው አብዛኛው ሰዎች የሚሰሩት ማለት ነው።
When do women come to Shiro meda to buy their Habesha qamis?
They mostly wear traditional clothes for holidays. But sometimes they wear it for weddings, birthdays, and for baptisms as well. But you mostly see them wear it when the holidays come around. Mostly it's on Christmas, Epiphany, and Meskel that they wear traditional clothes.
እስካሁን ሀበሻ ቀሚስ ሞክሬ አላውቅም ግን መሞከር እፈልጋለሁ ይቻላል?
You can.
በደንብ ይቻላል።
We want to see you look good while wearing our dresses, and we also want you to say good things about our dresses.
Okay.
So of course you can.
እሺ
Yes, it's ነጠላ. I'm going to make you look like a bride. Can I?
ይቻላል።
It looks good on you.
ያምራል?
ቁመናሽም
Your height, your hair, they were made for traditional clothes. It looks perfect.
በጣም ያምራል።
You look good. Don't you like it? Is there anything else you want? When you wear a bra underneath, it makes the dress look even better.
ጫማ
እሺ አዎ
And if you add on heel shoes, it adds to its beauty.
አመሰግናለሁ።
በጣም ነው የሚያምርብሽ። ከዚህ በኋላ ለባሽ ነሽ ማለት ነው አይደለ?
The dress looks really good on you. You're going to wear traditional dresses from now on, right?
ያምራል?
ይበልጥ ደግሞ
If you add the ጥለት on it, then it makes it look even better. We can put this in a different style. Raise your hands. When you go to a wedding, you tie it around your waist.
ለሰርግ
እንደዚህ ሲሆን ያምራል። ለምን ጉድ ጉድ ስትይ ማለት ነው።
እንዴት ነው?
እንደዚህ ጉድ ጉድ።
Yes, when you tie this around, it helps you with the traditional dancing.
በቃ ዝም ብሎ
Just like this, you do it even if you're singing.
ማሸብሸብም ሆነ
አመሰግናለሁ ሙሉ ዓለም።
Thank you for visiting as well. I didn't catch your name though. Emmeline.
Thank you.
The dress looks lovely on you.
አገራችን
You look like one of us.
I really love this dress. Personally, I'd rather opt for designs that combine modernity and tradition. And I know the perfect designer for this. Hi Anna, and thank you for having us at your factory.
Thank you very much for inviting me onto your program. It's wonderful to have you here.
Thank you so much. We just came back from Shiro. What does this place say to you?
Shiro has been one of my biggest inspiration location, if you will. Even before I moved back to Ethiopia, every time I would travel, I would always go to Shiro. And I still do. At least once a month I go there, and it's a great location for me to get a quick, overview of what's happening in traditional wear and modern wear and colors, just engaging with the vendors, with the weavers, etc. So we're so lucky to have a place like Shiro where everybody comes there. It's really like the melting pot. And I have seen how it has grown over the years. It's a lot more, I want to say, organized chaos, because we have bigger walkways now, and so it's good. It's an important location for us as designers and creatives, because when you find things in one location, you could immediately compare, you could immediately get an overview, especially if you don't have time to kind of go to all these different locations. People come from different parts of the country to sell their products, to get inspired, etc. So yeah, it's one of my number one places to really, and I take, of course, all my guests that come there, etc., to get inspired and also, to shop, of course. I have a lot of a lot of vendors that I work with, and I've kept a good relationship over the years.
And what has changed over the years in terms of fashion there?
Well, it's interesting because it's grown. Obviously, the population has grown, so Shiro has grown. We're very lucky because there's a huge demand for traditional woven fabrics, as you know. In most countries, it's limited to a certain kind of population segment or for certain kind of events. But in Ethiopia, I think not daily, but it's pretty much, a staple of most of the wardrobe of people, of locals, and also for those visiting. So it has grown. As far as creativity, however, I don't think, we've reached our peak yet. We have a long way to go. I think there tends to be this kind of let me do what everybody else is doing. It's trendy, it's selling next door, it's selling down the street, so maybe that's what we should do as well. So I just feel that we could do a lot more around creativity. But of course, most of the people at Shiro are vendors, so they're entrepreneurs. So naturally, at the end of the day, they're looking at things that they can sell. So that has to really be driven by by designers, by creatives behind them that help inspire and bring in innovation and new things into the market. So,
according to you, what makes the Ethiopian traditional handwoven textiles so unique?
Well, I think the technique in itself is not unique. I think what makes it unique is that today in the 21st century, you have millions and millions of Ethiopians that are still wearing it in pretty much the same way that it's been worn for, centuries, I can say. So the traditional technique is, obviously a tradition that exists in a lot of old cultures around the world, of course in Asia and India, I'm sure obviously in Europe as well. But what makes it unique is that, we still wear it pretty much. It's woven in, of course, there are newer machines that have come into the market now. But I think, people kind of still use the traditional weaving techniques, traditional embroidery. And people are kind of attached to that. I think it kind of reminds us that, this is our heritage and we don't want to let go. Of course, there is a side of us that wants to also be modern and contemporary, and that is also growing, but it's also nice to be able to have something that has a rich history that dates back for such a long time. And it's a communication, it's a conversation. I hope it continues. I hope it does continue the way it does. I know it's very labor intensive. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to see, but to complete one garment or one full outfit, it takes such a long time. And, the working conditions are not always ideal, And so, we really need to work a lot around that to make sure that we're not just benefiting aesthetically, that we can still have these beautiful handcrafted products available to produce, but also that the people who are producing can enjoy it and preserve that tradition and pass on that tradition to future generations.
At Shiro Meda, we can find a lot of traditional clothing. But your brand is more of a mix between tradition and modernity. How would you describe your brand?
African mosaic, and the word mosaic obviously is beautiful things coming together, has always been a very Pan-African concept from the very beginning. And interestingly enough, my starting point has always been textiles, because for me, I got into fashion as a model, but perhaps in the beginning, mainly I got in by chance. I stumbled into it. But then when I chose the path to work as a fashion designer, I really questioned myself as to what am I going to bring new to the market. There are so many very talented designers, very passionate, who work 24/7 on creating and innovating design. Is that really what I want to do? But for me, it was very important that I'm able to tell stories and to be able to show that in Africa, we have such a broad and diverse culture in textiles. And so my story really begins with the fabrics and why we have this richness and this color and this bold motifs that we have with our fabrics explains a lot about who we are as a people. And also understanding that we don't know our neighbors. I've had the opportunity to travel to many countries in Africa. We lived there as well briefly when I was a young child. I've also had a lot of African friends when I was living in New York, etc. So for me, it's second nature. I'm familiar with this. But when I'm living now on the continent, I realize that we actually don't know much. And what we know is really what's being transported to the West and being interpreted and then returned back to us with maybe a different storyline. So that's why for me, it's sort of like, let me get the fabrics as they are and then try to create modern silhouettes, but really having the fabric as the main story.
As a fashion designer, what would you say have been the main challenges that you faced along your journey?
So when I decided that I was going to embark on this career path as a fashion designer, once again, I had to kind of talk to myself. And for me, it's really important, that I source, design, and develop in Africa. I mean, that's really my main story. And so if I'm going to source locally, if I'm going to design locally, and if I'm going to manufacture locally, I need to build the infrastructure to do it. Because we are competing with an international global market that is way more advanced than we are, that is ahead of us. So we have to make sure that what we produce is at a good quality, that we deliver on time, and that we show that we're serious about the industry. So, so that was it was a big commitment, but I had to make sure that the first phase of the business plan was to really create this infrastructure. And of course, when you manufacture local, you have to build a team. So of course, we have to find designers that are, most of them fresh graduates from university or from design schools, to build that team, the marketing team, the sales team, etc. And so, but it has been a struggle along the way because we're really starting from scratch, But what inspires me is that I'm seeing change, I'm seeing, in the years that I've lived now in Ethiopia, I'm beginning to see, there's a lot more younger designers that are entering the industry, not with full support from their family, because, when I was in fashion or when people were, when I was working as a model, but when designers wanted to get into, university to study fashion design, and it wasn't accepted by families, you know, because it was like fashion design. You go to university to study engineering, or you become a doctor, and so. But now they're beginning to see the potential. You know, we have 110 million people who need to wear clothes every day. You know, and you can build huge industries around locally made fabrics, locally made designed clothing. You know, so we try to create here at African Mosaic this center where we're not only creating our own collection, but it also inspires, you know, a new generation of designers to say this is serious work. If you do it well, you can be successful. There's a market for it. So that's kind of the environment we've created. We started this program called the African Mosaic Fashion Incubator Program, which now has been running for 5 years. And one of the reasons that I wanted to do that was really I wanted to focus on up-and-coming, bright, promising designers, and then incubate them and create an ecosystem where they come 5 days a month, and they can benefit from what we have here. So we have our full manufacturing area, we have our sales area, we have our promotion area, and so we do workshops with it, we have training programs. So, and we have seen over the 5 years, we've had close to 50 young designers that have gone through our program, and they've become very successful. They've become quite successful because they have seen firsthand, you know, over the course of this 12 months, the potential the industry has, and also an opportunity for them to actually unlock their talent. Because by coming here, it's a free program. So, you know, it's a lot of work, but it's free, and we make sure that they develop their collection, they understand the business of fashion, they upgrade their skills, we bring in trainers. So, you know, this is something I'm very excited about because obviously I've been in fashion for 20 years, and when I came to Ethiopia, I said I have to do something substantial. I wanted to give back, but in a substantial way, in a way that is sustainable, and in a way that's long term. So I have seen now with designers, you know, they've created their own community and they support each other, and they're also, you know, really big advocates of Made in Ethiopia, which is also what we stand for. And so, so it's become successful, and obviously it's only 10 designers. It's not a lot. I wish we can do more. You know, there are hundreds and hundreds who are graduating from design schools, but you know, for now we cannot, you know, absorb all of them. But at least when we have our events, we make sure that it's open, it's affordable. People can come to see what we do here, and then each designer in return has the responsibility also to give back and support.
Thank you so much, Hannah.
Most welcome.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of ET A to Z. See you all next time.